Hello, welcome to Practical Piano. My name is Tia. I've been playing piano for 20 years and teaching for 10, and this is a practice session video. In a practice session, I practice piano, and whenever I think of something that would help you as a pianist improve your practice, I stop and I share that with you. This season of the practice series is all about improving the methods that you use to practice, improving your efficiency in practice, so that as you practice, you will make incrementally faster progress. My hope for you is that by implementing these different pieces of advice, you're able to get more reward for the time that you put into your practice, more benefit. All right. So I haven't played for a few days, so we're going to need a pretty good warm-up, and I have a huge block of time. So we're going to do a big warm-up. We're going to start with melodic scales. I almost always start with scales. How about today we're going to start with tonic 4-note chords because it's good to change your routine. Tonic 4-note chords. Let's start with the minors. I want to play the minors. Let's do F sharp minor. Tonic 4-note chords. I have to play with cadence. That part will be tricky. Now, let me figure out what the cadence will be for my minor chords. So, in a minor scale, the 4 is minor, the 6 is minor, the 5 is going to be major. So minor, minor, and then the 5. And then also the 1 is minor. Okay, so a cadence, let me start with some cadences to wrap my head around those. We'll start with them up here. F sharp minor, 1, 4, actually it should be a 6 next. Okay, so what is my 6? Oh, now the problem. Oh, I know how to figure that out. Okay, so I'm thinking the problem is that I always get mixed up with, do I use the natural, the harmonic, or the melodic to figure out what my chord is in a different part of the scale. But I don't have to worry about that. I just have to know what the letter is. And then it's got to be, no, I do have to know that because it will change the letter. Okay, we're going to run it off the natural. That's the natural. And the 6th note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, will be D natural. So this should be D minor for the 6th chord. Okay, so our first chord in F sharp minor is the 1 chord. And then we have the 6th chord, which is D minor. Whoa! Hopefully that's right. The 4 chord, the 5 chord, it's going to be C sharp major. Oops. Okay. Now, because I'm not positive on that 6th chord, I should do one of two things. I should either not practice it, so I don't practice it wrong, or I should go and figure out what it is. So, let me go and speak to somebody about this, because I'm in a place full of musicians. Somebody will know. All right, I'm back. So I went downstairs and I talked to one of the gentlemen there, and he knew what this meant. So I've been playing the chord a little bit wrong, the cadence a little bit wrong, even for the major, but the minor, we're going to adjust this right away. So This is the 6. 6 is major. 4 is minor. The 5 is going to be an octave. It's going to be like a full 4-note chord. And then I'm going to transfer the 8 to a 7. So it's just slightly different than what I've been doing. Let me play you this in major. So what I've been doing with the major, no, 6. That's all good. The next thing, the G is good too. Oh, except I have to play actually the 5th of G in my left hand, which would be D. I've been playing G with it because I thought I needed to play the 5th of C with it, but I have to play the 5th of G with it. So I'm going to make a note to myself. Play 5th of 5 chord in left hand. So that's my first 5 chord. Now my next 5 chord is going to be an octave. So I'll move my left down and we'll play a G on the bottom, and then I'll play a G 4-note chord in the right, and then I move to the 7, and then we go back to 1. Now the minor cadence, I was pretty on point, except the 6 is going to be a major chord instead of a minor chord. So 1, which is minor, then 6, which is major, and then 4, which is minor, and then 5, which is major, and we start in the second inversion, and then, no, but in the left hand we're going to do the 5 with the 5th of the 5th with it. Then we're going to go down and we're going to do the tonic 4-note chord and then the 7. Good. Okay. Now, I'm doing this not just to instruct you, but I'm also doing it because I just learned something new. When you learn something new, you don't want to just set it and forget it. You want to drill it a few times to make sure you understand it. And I find a good number of how many times to play it is 5. I don't know why. It seems to be a magical number. But if you play 3 times, it's not quite enough. But something happens between 4 and 5 where whatever you're learning clicks a little better than any of the other repeats. So, as a general rule, when I learn something new, I try and play it 5 times to embed it in there. All right. We're going to do it with a different chord though. So let's do G minor. It's a little simpler than F sharp minor. What's in G minor? There we go. Okay. 1. 6. 4. 5, which is major, and then 1, which is minor. Okay, that's good. Let's do it again. 1, 6, 4, 5, 6, want that last note to be as strong as the other notes. Okay. 3 more times on the same key. Good. Okay, 2 more times. Last time. Whoops. And one more. Good. All right, now let's do it with A. A minor has no sharps and flats. Okay. So we start with 1. Then we go to 7, which is major. Not 7, it's 6. Let's try again. 1, 6, 4, which is minor, 5, which is major, oh, but it shouldn't be with the 5 of A, it should be with the 5 of E, which would be a B. Last one needs to be minor. Okay, so 4 more times. That's 1, 6, 4, 5, which should be major. 5 to 7. 1, good. 1, 6, 4, 4, hold on. Yeah, 4. Okay, so my mix-up there was I was thinking, okay, I need the 5 of that chord. What is it? But it's in the wrong place. I don't need the 5 of that chord. I need the 1 of that chord. I need the 5 of this next chord. 1, 6, 4, 5, 5, 7, 1. That's 3 times. We'll do 2 more times. Okay, now let's try it with the tougher ones. Let's go F sharp, okay, so when we did it with C major, C minor, sorry. Yeah, so the natural has these two flats. So we use, for the sixth chord, we use whatever the natural six is. We're using a natural six off of the original scale. And from there we build a major chord. So in F minor, F sharp minor, our key signature is F sharp, C, and G. F, C, and G. So when I play F, the D is natural, the C is sharp. And my sixth note is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My sixth note is D in F sharp minor. All right, so when you construct a sixth chord for your minor cadences, it's going to be on the natural sixth of the scale. And this always confuses me because there's three kinds of minors. So I never know, oh, are we working off of the original key, the natural, or are we working with the sharp, the raised six? Okay, so we have F sharp. So we're learning a lot today. When you construct a sixth chord in a minor scale, you use the natural minor. Whew. Okay, 1 has got to be a minor. And then our 6 is built on D instead of D sharp. So D is going to be major because it's a 6. And then we're going to have a 4, which is minor. Then we have the 5th, which is C sharp, major. Except we're using the 5th of C sharp major with that. And then our original key was F sharp. We gotta go back to F sharp. Whew, this one's gonna need some practice. The 6 is D. The 4 is B. The 5 is C sharp, which we play in inversion first, with a G sharp in the left hand. Four more. D natural, B, 5 is C sharp, Good. Okay. 3 more. Whew. No. F. Ta-da! 2 more, and then we're going to do extra. Okay. 1, 6, 4, 5 is C sharp with a G. F sharp, F sharp, D, B, C sharp, no, C sharp over G sharp, C sharp over G sharp. Let's do that again. F, D, B, C sharp over G sharp. Octave, 7, F sharp. Okay, F sharp, D, B, C sharp over G sharp, C sharp, 7, F sharp, F sharp, D, D natural, F, woo, moving a little too fast. Okay, F sharp, D natural, B minor, F sharp over G, no sorry, C sharp over G, octave, 7, F sharp, F sharp, D, B, C sharp over G, 1, 6, 4, 5, nope, 5, 5, 7, 1. C sharp over G. So all we're focusing on is getting the G sharp at the bottom of the C sharp chord. G sharp. Nailed it. 3 times. G sharp. Two more. C sharp over G. Last one. Nailed it. Alright, so we never actually worked on the tonic 4-note chord itself, but those cadences needed figuring out. They needed some work. So it's good that we took care of that. And it's okay when you're practicing if you have a plan and then you realize something else needs your attention and you focus on that instead. At the end of the day, you're still making progress, and that is what you're aiming for. All right, let's do some scales. My hands feel better after I play scales. So let's do F sharp melodic. Am I doing it wrong? No, I'm going fine. I can go faster, so we'll go faster. Okay, one more time. Good, the turnaround at the top was better. So I'm happy with that. We'll move on. Let's do G melodic. Alright, so that funny sound was I missed the B flat. Okay, let's try again. And again. Now I can feel tension in my forearms. It's probably because I started with chords instead of scales. In the future, we're just going to start with scales. I find scales are better for me to warm up with, and then chords are easier. But try to do things different today. It doesn't work for my hands, and I have to respect that. All right, let's do G melodic a couple more times, maybe a tad slower. Better. Good. A. Oh no, let's do G sharp first. All right, now let's do G sharp minor melodic. I am not sure what to do for this one, so we'll try it out. That was major. That was harmonic. So we're going to go 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I just figured out it's all the black keys on the way down, and I need G, and I need E on the way down. Sorry, B and E on the way down. And on the way up, and on the way up, I need to skip E and go F, G. So if I can remember on the way down that it's all black keys, then I'll be okay. But the way up is tricky. Now, because one way is easy and the other way is tough, I don't need to practice the easy way. We're going to do 5 times going up in the right hand. And we'll go a bit slower. Two more. Whoops. One more. And the left hand. Wait, did I just start them in the same place? Yeah, left hand should start lower. That one was not good. We're not going to count it. Still 2 more. Very close. Try again. Nice. Now let's try it together. On the way up, 5 times hands together. That's what we're going to do. And then I'm going to tell you about how to keep your fingers on the black keys, how to not slip off, because this is a question I get a lot from my students. Oh, we don't need to practice on the way down, but the going up was okay. So we'll do 3 more. I think we're doing 4 more. Three more. Two more. And let's do the whole scale. Oftentimes, my students ask, my keys are really slippery at home. They're more slippery than here. And my fingers slip off the black keys very easily. And there are basically two ways that I know of to help you stay on the black keys without slipping off. Now, the first way is to use more of your finger. So rather than use your fingertip on the black key, you have so little room to strike the black key. If you use the flat of your finger pad, if you made this rubbing motion, you would be using your finger pad. And you will have actually more of your finger to place on the black key. The other thing you can do is grip. So you place and grip. To do both of those, you have to slow down and focus on your fingers. And that is actually the secret to not slipping off your black keys. Nobody wants to hear it, but if you don't want to slip off your black keys, you need to go slow and controlled. You determine what your fingers do. And so you can choose to play carefully or not. And if you play carefully, you won't slip off the black keys. So if you're finding you're slipping off the black keys, the first thing you can do is slow down. The second thing you can do, make sure you're gripping, because this, I'm not sure why, but it works. I think it's because you create a bit of friction and it helps you stay on better. And start with the flat of your finger. So you'll end up, if you're gripping, if you're starting flat and then you're gripping, you'll end up on your tip. But it's actually much stronger and more precise than if you just land on your tip. You have very, very little there. But if you grip, it's like you pull the skin up and it just works better. But in order to focus on that, you'll need to slow down. So slowing down is the best way to make sure you don't slip off your black keys. And then the second best way is start on the flat and grip. There's another thing I wanted to talk about, but I forget what it was. All right, that's enough of a warm-up. Let's do, I don't really want to do fugue today. I'm not going to do fugue. I've been focusing mainly on the Valse, Chopin Valse. And I think we'll continue to focus on that because it feels good to be making progress. And the more that I practice it, the more I'll make progress. I'm going to reset the timer because I have more time and I want to work on this song. I love this microphone because if I somehow detach it, it's got a magnet and it just clips right back onto the and damage my shirt. I love this microphone. It's very good. You guys probably don't need it, but I'll leave a link down in the description for the microphone so that if you do need a microphone, there you go. Ha! Remember last time we worked on that jump? Already it's much, much easier to do it. Whoops, flats. G. That one's good. Okay, next set. Whoa. Is that correct? Yes, it is. we go. Good. Now I'm feeling a little extra stretch in here than usual. I'm going to stretch my fingers and see if it helps. And then if I play again and I keep feeling that, I'm not going to spend too much longer practicing those chords. I can only handle them for so long. And that's okay. It's okay that there are things that you can't physically do yet. And sometimes there's things that you'll never be able to do. It's okay to accept that. And in the case of things that you can't physically do yet, just keep playing them a little bit at a time, and your hands will strengthen and adapt over time. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to put a little bit of work in very frequently. It's just like working any other muscle. If you can't lift 100 pounds, you're not going to get there by lifting 100 pounds. You're going to get there by lifting what you can lift and getting better at that, and then moving up a little bit. And if you take what you can lift, let's say you can lift like 25 pounds. Sounds like a lot. I don't think I can. Depends on the exercise probably. But let's say you can lift 25 pounds. You're not going to get to 100 pounds by overexerting, working on 25 pounds. You'll do a little bit with your 25 pounds frequently, and then you move up to 28 pounds or 30 pounds. You do a little bit there frequently, and you build the muscle over time. It's the same principle with your hands. They're just another body part. So eventually, I'll be so comfortable playing that, it won't have any effect on like overstretching my hand, because I will have played it and rested, and my body will have recovered and strengthened in the meantime. So do a little bit, whatever you can, and trust that your body is rebuilding, and eventually you'll be able to do it pretty effortlessly. Okay, let's do 3 more. That's actually feeling okay. Oops. Ha! Okay, let's try that. And we'll go 3 more, but slower. Make sure everything is good, then play it. 2 more. 1 more. Ta-da! See, I got my reps in on that part. Now I can let them rest. I can lift 25. I did 25 when I did farmer carries. Whoops. Not an F sharp. We have to move to the G for that one. Okay, these chords are the ones that are making my hand feel funny. So, that's enough. That one hurt. So we're not going to do any more of that for a while. flat, so I need to do this twist. See, in this hand, I can just use 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But in this hand, if I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, then I can't reach the bottom note. So I go 1, 2, 3, tuck, and I swing over to there. If you try out the way that they gave you and it doesn't work for you, it's okay to modify the fingering. So the point of fingering in piano is to be very efficient, is to get from note to note with ease, without twisting uncomfortably, without injuring yourself. And so if you go to do something and you can't reach the note you need to reach, modify so that you can reach it. And as long as your fingering is pretty natural and you're being efficient and your playing is good, nobody should be docking you points in an exam or at a recital or a festival for not following the fingering laid out in the book. If what you have is better fingering, works for you, and you're executing your song very well, that's good enough fingering. So if somebody is bothering you about that, if it's your teacher and they're saying, look, this is a better way because it'll work for your hands better, that's something else. But if somebody's like, no, you should always follow what's in the book, don't follow that advice. Adjust as needed. Whoops. Rest. D flat. I'm going to write that one in. I don't think it normally gives me trouble, but it might, so we'll write it in. Here's where I am. I skipped a measure. Let's go back to where I was. Alright, now I don't really want to work on this page anymore. We started getting into a new part. Over here. So that's what we're going to work on. Okay, let's play that again. Okay, let's actually drill the left hand here. I haven't played much of the left hand, and it's good. A big mistake lots of people make is like just drilling the right hand and not drilling the left hand. It's totally fine to play separately, but left hand is always a little harder than the right hand for most people. And so it needs the most work. And so when you start and you focus on the right hand and that's all you focus on, your left hand suffers and you actually set it back even more than it's already set back. So practice your left hand as much as or more than you practice your right hand. Let's play this area again. Okay, E, A, G, E, G, F, E. That sounds so nice. Okay, so we need to write in some of our D flats. The B flats I remember, the A flats I remember, even most of the E flats I remember. But D is the one I don't usually see, so that's the one I don't usually remember. So that's the one we're gonna write in. And it is okay for you to write in what you need to write in, whether that's sharps, letters, fingers, counting. There's a myth, there's this idea that if you write it in, it's cheating because you will depend on writing it in. Now, can that be the case? Absolutely. It depends on what your intention is. If your intention is, I don't really like piano and I don't really want to play, I want everything to be easy, so I'm going to write it all in so that I don't have to think, then yeah, you will be dependent on the things you wrote in. But for most people, that's not the case. Most of the time, your intent is to get better at piano because you do enjoy it or because you're hoping to do something with it, like compose your own music or take exams, teach even. Most people who are learning do desire to learn, and you don't desire to depend on anything. So, yes, if you use a crutch in order to make walking easier, you will have to use a crutch for the rest of your life. If you use a crutch to heal, and you don't want to be depending on the crutch, eventually you won't need it, because once you're healed, you won't need it. If you use training wheels on your bike, and you're just using them because you don't really want to think and you don't really want to have to work on your balance, then yeah, you'll use training wheels on your bike for the rest of your life. Until you find I'm pretty sure at some point they don't offer training wheels on bikes. But if your intent is to be able to ride a bike without the training wheels, you're going to be focusing on getting off of the training wheels. So, what is the purpose of writing in things into your music? It's not really to make it easy. That's not what it's for. What it is you get to this point and you're not recognizing the note For example, I'm not recognizing D as a flat in this song. So I have to write it in quite a bit because I'm missing it a lot. The reason I'm not recognizing the D is because they didn't put the flat right beside it. They put it in the key signature. And when I'm playing, I'm thinking of my fingering, I'm thinking of my notes, I'm thinking of my counting, I'm thinking of a lot of different things. I'm thinking of getting to the next note on time. And every once in a while, that key signature is not going to be at the forefront of my focus because there are other things that are important that I'm working on. So when I write in the D flat there, it brings to attention, oh, yeah, while I'm focusing on these other 5 different things, I also see that there is a D flat there and I'm going to play it. Now, the other concept that you need to understand about writing things in is that your brain can't know what it doesn't know. You ever learn something new and then right away somebody's like, now tell me what that is. You're like, well, I mean, I just learned it, but I can't remember it for the life of me. The reason you can't remember it is because that's not how memory works. To remember something, things stay in your memory for 3 days, 72 hours. If you don't reuse the information that you learned within 72 hours, it doesn't ever go into your long-term memory. It stays in your short-term memory. And then, even if it goes into your long-term memory, if you don't use it again, and use it again, and use it again, you won't strengthen the pathway in your brain. You won't devote more neurons to remembering that idea, to working on that idea. And this also explains why you can learn a song perfectly, and if you don't practice for a year, you will forget it entirely, because your brain will discard information that's irrelevant. So if it goes, last time we played this was 6 months ago, we probably don't need it. We have a lot of other things we're learning and we need to devote energy to that. Then it'll just throw away that song. I'm saying throw away, it's not actually what it does. I believe what it does is it makes that part just go dormant. That's why you know the song through and through, but you haven't played it for a year, so now you can't play it. But then once you start practicing it again and you go through a few sleep cycles, your brain is like, hey, hold up. We put this down in the filing cabinet and we've been using it an awful lot, so we should bring it back up from the filing cabinet. And all those neurons, everything that you practiced is still there. It just wasn't important. So now that you're practicing it again, it has become important, so your brain is devoting energy to it, and now you will remember it. You will learn it faster than you did the first time around. All that to say, that is how your brain works. You don't just hear something once and remember it forever, unless you've got like photographic memory, which is not very common. Most of us don't have that gift. The way it works is you have to continually put in the correct information, and then your brain can recall it. But if it doesn't have the information, it can't give it to you. When you try to get yourself to remember something that's new and you can't remember it, it's because it's not there. So you have to put it in. And so that's why writing things in is actually going to help you, because what you're going to do is you're going to look at the note and you're going to see the symbol attached to it. Let's say I wrote this C on top of this note. I'm going to see that there's a C there, and my brain will go, yes, this note is a C. We learn by labels and symbols. And so when I see this note, if I don't recognize it, and I have a symbol right there that says C, now my brain is going, this note, this symbol equals C, which equals this. All of that will get connected. So, the other thing that writing in helps you do is I can figure out what this note is if I don't recognize it right away, but it will take me much longer because I will have to go and count up from the note I do recognize. I recognize A, so now I'll go A, B, C. Oh, this is a C. You have to work that process every single time. And that's a healthy thing to do, and you should. But it depends on what your priorities are. If you want to learn a song really, really fast, write everything in. If you want to learn a song and you want to memorize what all the components are, don't write anything in and have to look it up every single time that you play it. If you're okay with spending an extra 10 seconds finding your note, then it's okay to not write it in. But if you're trying to work on something like dynamics and you keep finding that you skip this note, you play it wrong, you're not going to want to spend 10 seconds figuring out what the note is, because what you want to do is work on dynamics. So write in the note, and then it's there, and then you can continue to focus on your dynamics. So there's not a wrong or a right way to practice. There's practicing. There are different levels of benefit, and there are different reasons to practice different ways. And once you understand how your brain works, and you understand, what am I actually doing when I'm writing in the letters? Oh, I'm assigning a symbol to this symbol that my brain doesn't recognize, so that eventually I'll be able to recognize it. It clears it up. And when you know what your intention is, if your intention is to find every single note because you want to get better at the sight reading, at finding notes, then yeah, walk through every single one and find each one, no matter how long it takes. But if you already have a decent sense of the notes and you want to work on something else in the song, write it in so that you don't have to take that time. The way you practice is going to depend on what your goals are. And it's okay to write in notes when you need to. And there's a circumstance where you don't want to write in notes, and that's where you want to figure out each one. All right, that was a bit of a rant, but I think it made sense in general, so hopefully it is helpful. Thank you for joining me for this practice session. If you liked it or you learned something new, please leave a like. If you know anyone else who would also enjoy it, please share it with them. If you have any questions or you want to tell me how your practice is going, leave a comment. And if you would like more, subscribe.